So today we are going to be looking at Ladder 29.
No, that's not the sound.
I know, right?
To make. I can't make that sound. Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, all right. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of To Die For Games. I'm Mandy, the board gaming pinup girl.
I'm Tracy, the gaming maven.
So today we're going to be looking at Ladder 29. I'm all excited about this little trick-takey stuff, so it's going to be fun. But before we get to all that, we got some other stuff we got to talk about.
So if you're looking for how the game sets up, or you're looking to see what we think, click on the timestamp below. While you're there, you can also comment on what you think and subscribe while you're at it.
Sounds pretty good to me. So I think we got it all set up, and let's get to take a look at the game.
Let's go. In Ladder 29, you're racing to beat the fire, trying to race to get to 29 points before any other players by playing tricks of cards with a twist. So the components for Ladder 29, they're very pretty and colorful. What we have here is we have our building on fire, and it is the score track. Then we have our handy dandy little cheat sheets here that tells us the trump colors. We also have some personnel cards. They have special abilities. They're usually wild cards. Score markers. We have our hotspot cards. They have various restrictions on them, and they also have scoring points depending upon what you're going for. And we have our 4 suits. So now I'm going to show you setup for the game. So we're going to give each player one of their color rank suits, so they have a reference sheet for the game. Then we're going to set up our on fire building. So this is basically going to tell us where our goal is to get to, obviously, 29. And we're going to play, say, 3 players. So let's do 3 players here. We'll take the other 2 out. The starting player, which in the first round is just determined randomly, is going to go on the 0 spot. And then each player in clockwise order is going to go on the next highest point spot. So they get benefit for being last player in the round. Then we're going to take all of the other suit cards. We're going to shuffle them up, give them a good shuffle, and each player is going to be dealt 13. So I'm going to deal 13. All right, so now each player has been dealt 13 cards. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put out the start player hotspot card. That one always has to come out, plus 1 more than the number of players. So if there are 3 players in this case, we're going to put out the start player plus 3 others. And these are going to change each round. And then players are going to look at their hand. Ooh, all these wonderful colors. You know, start them how you like. And the idea is you're trying to get tricks. So what you're going to do first is you're going to pass 3 to the player on your left. So you're going to pick 3 cards that you want to give away, and you're going to give them to the player on your left, and they would do the same thing, and then I would get 3 from this player. We'll just take the top 3, say that's what they decide to give me. So in most trick-taking games, the idea is you are trying to, as you can see with the suit here, green is the lowest suit, yellow, then blue, then red. So you're trying to play singles, pairs, runs to beat the other player. So if I was to say play 3 of green, then pretty much anything from 4 on in the green and any other suit will actually beat that. But I guess first thing I should tell you about, of course, is these wonderful things here. Now what we're going to do before we actually play out that first card is we're actually going to choose in start player order one of these. They're basically going to give you bonus score depending upon which placement where you end in the round in regards to rank. And also they each have a requirement on them that either restricts what you're able to do or gives you a bonus. So for example, if I pick this one, if I play, I must beat the played card by at least 3. So that's kind of tricky. So that's basically if someone's to play a 4, I would have to obviously play a 7 or higher. The biggest thing, like I said, is playing to match the suits. So if I was to put this green 3, someone would put anything in the 4 or higher in green and higher than that. The goal is basically to play out all of your cards. Once someone has played out all of their cards, then they are going to get first player. So if we're playing 3 players, first and second will score, and third will get nothing. Last always gets 0. Now, what's going to happen is if this was my hotspot card and I finished first, I would get these 14 points. However, if the second place player took this card, they would get the second place points on this. So this is why I think the trickiest part of this game is you get the points based on your placement in the round from your card and your card only. You also only have to be restricted by the text on your card and not every card in play. Basically, the first person to get 29 will trigger the end game. You will play out, and then basically highest points wins the game.
So now we're ready to give our quick review of Ladder 29. So what do you think?
Trick-taking game. You got me right at trick-taking game.
I know, she kicks my butt every time. So I like it. It was cute. It was light. So I think overall it was pretty good.
Yeah, similar to games like Black Spy.
Yep.
You've got that twist, but it's very traditional kind of president-style game where you're trying to trump someone else's cards.
Yeah, so I like the fact that it was an easy play. Like some trick-taking games can get a little complicated.
They can.
And I like the fact that it had the objectives. So you had other ways to get some points. You're like, ooh, I'm working towards that versus just trying not to get all the cards.
Yeah, the hotspot cards really added an interesting thing because you get points based on what you're picking, but it's going to restrict what you can do because some are harder than others to actually achieve.
Yeah, because I think one of the ones that I was playing with was like the first player. You get to go first, but you get less points.
You do get less points, but you don't have to worry about having to play, a certain number of cards, or you can't play these cards with that, and so on and so forth.
Right.
That's harder, but you get more points if you can do it.
So the only thing that I thought was a bit strange, and I know we had talked about this, was the being able to play multiple cards.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I like that, being able to, if everyone passes and you can still play on it, you just play until you decide you want to pass. I'm kind of not sure how that kind of came into, how that works. We didn't really do it. We just decided to pass after the last person played a card.
Exactly.
But, I don't know. It'd be nice to know what they thought of, why they thought that would be a good idea.
I feel like someone could just be playing forever and ever and ever, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I mean, we're too nice. We just stop. Okay, pass. So.
Right.
I do like the fact that they had the different the different colors could trump. And I know a lot of trick-taking games are like that. They're based on the level. So in this case, I think it was green that was the lowest and red was the highest.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun. I just found it really easy to understand. And it was short. It wasn't an extremely long game.
And very thematic. You looked at the buildings that were on fire for the score marker. It looked like a building on fire. It was really cool. And you got to get to ladder 29 or the 29th level. So it was really quite thematic with that. And the art on the cards was very traditional. You kind of felt like you were a firefighter.
I feel like
fighting that fire.
What was St. Elmo Street? Was that fire?
St. Elmo's fire?
Fire, excuse me. Yeah. It is fire. Like fire station-y, fire.
Oh.
I'm trying to remember. Anyway.
I come from that era.
I know, me too. I should know. Anyways, it came to mind. I don't know why, but that's what happened. So anyways, maybe I should get back to the review. So on the actual cards, it's hard to talk about the art and stuff because it's still in a prototype phase. It is on Kickstarter now. So I mean, the general art direction, I think it's thematic and fits really well.
Very much.
I wish the colors were a bit stronger, but again, that could happen once the final product happens.
Exactly. The cards on the hotspot cards are really bright, and then the other ones are a little bit more muted. Not bad, but they are a lot lighter. So.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens in that direction. So overall, what do we think comparable games to that would be? I know you mentioned a few, but there was something else you had mentioned.
Black Spy was one. The most traditional one called President. There's another less nice name. I'm not going to say that one, but President is what it's known by. But yeah, basically there's quite a few trick-taking games that basically take the traditional style of euchre and stuff like that and twist it a little bit and add their own little flair. And this did that.
Yeah, so there you go. And I didn't find it, like I said from before, it wasn't super complicated, so that worked out nicely. So I think overall we thought it was a good game, good lunchtime game.
Very good lunchtime game.
And it plays in a short amount of time, so it works out well. So overall, I thought we really enjoyed this game, but we generally tend to enjoy trick-taking games. So if you're looking for something light and fun, I think this would be the way to go.
It would be. Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Still on Kickstarter. Check it out. See you next time.
Bye.
Follow us on social media.